So, did you know that you and your kid are really smart? Apparently, there are 8 different kinds of intelligences. And if you want to check it out, Dr. Kathy Koch wrote a book about it. It's called 8 Great Smarts. I'm going to get into them for you so you can see the potential, both for yourself and your kid. So, the first kind of smart is called the words smart. These are the children who are very verbal. They're also likely to talk more when they're excited or when they have something new or even when they're upset. They're constantly talking. These chatty Cathys can pose quite the problem. But here's the thing, as they grow older, these will most likely be the ones who become politicians or lawyers or any other field that requires the ability to express oneself verbally. So there's actually a strength if we harness it correctly. The second kind of smart is the picture smart. These are the kids or the people who see things in pictures. They're very visual. Even in your mind, you see things in picture format. You're also most likely the kind of person who likes to doodle or draw as you're thinking, or you're into art, expression, some way through the artistic format or the visual format. These are the kind of people who will sit there and doodle, maybe on the wrong things, because they're excited. And it's again all about harnessing that strength instead of breaking it down. The third kind of smarts is logic smarts. These are the children who are most likely to ask the question, why? Over and over and over and over. They're the ones who really react negatively to anything that they perceive to be unfair. They're the ones who really like to understand how things work, why they work, and what they can expect. And when things change, they can get really upset, so you have to explain it to them. So if you want them to do something, you need to explain it to them so that it makes sense, even from a young age. The fourth kind of smarts is the body smarts, otherwise known as the movement smarts. So these are the people who will learn and kind of absorb information way better when their body's in motion. They're also probably very touchy and physical, and are most likely the ones who are running to you for hugs when they get excited or upset. You might be somebody who experiences a lot of body smarts as well. How do you deal with it? Do you go running? Do you exercise because it calms you down? Are you the kind of person who will be sitting there tapping your pen because your body needs to be in motion in some way? Or do you sit there and shake your knee under the table when you're at a meeting? That is a body smart, and you just need to learn how to harness it. The fifth kind of smarts is nature smarts. And these are the human beings who respond really well to designs and patterns, particularly in nature. When they're excited, they want to be outdoors. They want to be involved with nature in some way. These are also the children that we find are very happy to get rolling in the mud or get their hands all dirty, because that's how they express, that's how they interact with the world. They need that kind of earth grounding. It's another kind of smart. Another type of smart is music smarts, and these are the children or people who think rhythmically, who respond well to music, and they're also most likely going to be making some form of sound with their body. You might find them drumming, you might find them humming, you might find them singing, often to themselves, and you might find yourself doing that. That means that you have music smarts. The next kind of smart is the people smart. People smarts are the children or adults who are very interested in sharing ideas with other people. It's not about introversion or extroversion. It's more about wanting to share information with others because that's how they learn. By hearing it and speaking it, that exchange, that's how they learn best. So these are the people and adults who are most likely to like to brainstorm with others, because when they're excited, they want to share it with someone else. And finally, the eighth kind of smart is the self-smart. If you are self-smart, you are most likely wanting to be alone when you're excited or have a new piece of information, because your way of processing it is by taking it within and really mulling it over. So if you have a child that just kind of needs to be alone for a little bit, it could very well be that you have a self-smart child who wants to process what's happening in his or her life. Now, here's a fun fact about the smarts. We are all born with potential for all 8 smarts. How we develop those smarts is what makes a difference. So let's say, for example, you were born into a family where your mother was an artist and your father was a lawyer. Your father will naturally bring that kind of work home by speaking, because that's what he's been doing all day. Those are word smarts. The children's verbal abilities will just get more exercised because their father is bringing in that culture. Now, on the mother's side, as an artist, what they've seen modeled in their life and what they're being exposed to is from her personal interests and her body smarts. So she's bringing in that art element. So they're going to have picture smarts because they've been exposed to it. They may already have a leaning towards it because genetically we're going to pick up some of that code, but then it's getting more developed. It's just like a muscle, like anything else to do with the brain. Do you have to have all 8 smarts developed? No. Please do not put that pressure on yourself or your children to have all 8 to be cultivated. They don't have to be. But understanding the smarts helps us with our self-awareness, to understand where we're coming from and how we process information. And it definitely helps us with our children and how to deal with them. We can teach, for example, our word smart children, the chatty Cathys, about the need to respect others' needs. So if, for example, I have a daughter who has a lot of word smarts and she's constantly talking to me and at me, I can say to her very simply, I can see that you're very excited and I can tell that you really want to tell someone. At the moment, I feel a headache coming on and I can't be that person. Would you like to find somebody else? Or if she's younger, you can say something like, why don't you sit all of your stuffed animals and you can pretend to be the teacher and you can share all that information with them. So those are the 8 smarts. Use them wisely.